Hi there, my name is Caitlin Bandy and this is my channel BandysBooks, and today I am here to talk to you about my October reading plans. So before we get into the reading plans, I just wanted to say hello again. If you have been with my channel for a while and you've been wondering where I've been the last couple weeks, I have been in Guatemala. Oz and I took a trip for about 2 weeks from like the 18th to the 30th and traveled all over Guatemala. We had an amazing time while we were there. We went to so many different places and did so many cool things. I have a couple different videos that are going to be coming up throughout the month from that trip, mostly related to reading and books and some of the stuff that was like literary tangential in Guatemala. And I did make a post about this, but just in case you didn't see it, Oz and I did end up getting engaged while we were in Guatemala. He proposed to me at a place called Champe, which is a massive national park in Guatemala. It has this gorgeous river and this like huge series of waterfalls. And we went on a hike up through the mountains and we were at a really, really beautiful overlook, and he went ahead and asked me to marry him. So that was super exciting. As you can see, I got a really pretty ring. So we're very, very excited about that. And it was just another highlight in an already amazing adventure. So thanks for sticking around while I've been absent the last couple weeks. I did have a few videos that popped up while I was gone, but definitely not as many as I would when I'm home. That said, let's get into the reading plans for the month of October. So September for me was all about the readathons. I participated in several of them and it was a lot of fun. But for October, we're switching it up. I want nothing to do with readathons this month. I love reading spooky season books. I'm all about the thrillers, the horror, the dark academia, that kind of stuff around this time of year. So most of my TBR for October is going to be focused around that type of reading. I have a few fantasies and things like that that are a little bit cozy. And then I also have a handful of books that are for Hispanic Heritage Month, as Hispanic Heritage Month does run to the 15th of October. I did pick some books for Hispanic Heritage Month last month as well. So this is just kind of a continuation of that celebration going into October. So in addition to the physical books on my TBR, I have about 5 books on my NetGalley shelf that I'm hoping to get to this month. The first up is The Collector by Laura Cat Young. This looks like it's going to be kind of a thriller, and it's definitely got some creepy vibes going on the cover, so I figured it was right for spooky season. Then we have The Dark Place by Brittany S. Lewis. This also has like a really gothic vibe going on the cover. I think this is kind of a YA horror. Then I have Mislaid in Parts Half Known by Shannon McGuire. This is a continuation of the Wayward Children series, and I've been loving that. That is kind of a fantasy, but it's a really dark, kind of creepy fantasy. So I think this will be perfect for spooky season. Then I have Only If You're Lucky by Stacey Willingham. I have read 2 of Willingham's previous books, both of which were thrillers, one which I absolutely loved and one that was just okay for me. So hopefully this one's going to be one that I love as well. And then I have A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. This is fantasy, but I feel like it has kind of a sprinkle of some dark academia feels in there, and it's really giving me fall vibes as well. So those are the 5 books that I have on my NetGalley shelf that I really want to focus on getting done this month. So now we're going to take a look at the physical books on my TBR, and we're going to start out with Hispanic Heritage Month. First up, we have How Not to Drown in a Glass of Water by Angie Cruz. This book is about a character named Kara who is in her mid-50s, and she has an unexpected loss of her job during the Great Recession, and she's forced back into the job market. This is a reflection on 12 years of her life, and this was recommended to me by Ali over at Ali Loves to Read on Instagram. She said that this was an amazing book, and I really trust her judgment, so I picked it up. Also by Angie Cruz is Dominicana. This has a main character who grew up in the Dominican Republic and has wished to go to New York City her whole entire life. When she has a marriage of opportunity that takes her to New York, she finds that life is a little bit different than she expected. And I think this is going to reflect on her life and some of the choices that she makes. I have been wanting to read this book for a really long time, so I finally got it as one of my add-ons for Book of the Month. And then I have Cazadora and Lobizona by Romina Garber. This is a fantasy duology that is set both in the United States and Argentina. We have a female main character who is kind of on the run. Her father is like in the criminal underground and people come after her. And as she is on the run, she discovers a whole world full of brujas and lobisones, which means witches and werewolves. And then these 2 books were on my TBR last month with The Fire on High and Clap When You Land, both by Elizabeth Acevedo. I have heard nothing but good things about Acevedo's writing. I also have The Poet X as a audiobook on my Libby app, so I'm hoping to hit at least 1 or 2 of these books Now we're gonna jump into some of my spooky season reads. I have a lot of books picked out. I don't know if I'll be able to get through all of these, but I'm gonna kind of mood read them as I feel like them. So first up, I have The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. I picked this up in 2021 in a big like spooky season book haul that I did. If you're interested in like seeing one of my atrocious, like very beginner videos, you can see it up here. But this was a book that I picked up and then just never got around to. It's been on my spooky season TBR like every year since. It's about a character named Jane who marries a doctor. They seem like they're gonna have a good life. There's just one thing. Jane has to promise that she will never ever go to the house where the doctor lives. When she is caught in a rainstorm and forced into the house, some spooky stuff starts to happen, and we find out that the doctor isn't necessarily who he says he is. I haven't heard a ton about this book. I know it was really popular the year that it came out, but I haven't heard a lot since. I'm hoping that this is the year that I'm finally gonna knock this off my TBR. Then I have Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell, and this book, I believe, revolves around the topic of incels. I think we have a main character who is an incel, and then a girl who lives across the street from him who finds him incredibly creepy. I personally can't think of anything more terrifying for a subject matter for a book than incels, so I think this is gonna probably be the creepiest book on my entire list. And then we have The Immortalist by Chloe Benjamin. This follows 4 different siblings. All of them have had predictions made about when they're going to die, and those predictions affect the way that they live their lives. I feel like this is not really like spooky season so much as a like cozy autumnal read. Like, well, I guess cozy might not be the right word, but it's got that autumnal kind of vibe. It's dark. It feels very fall-esque. Even the like cover to me is screaming fall vibes. So I'm looking forward to this one. Then we have Small Angels by Lauren Owen. This is a book I picked up from Book of the Month, I want to say last year around spooky season, and it is about the Mockbeggar Woods, and these woods are kind of haunted. There's 3 sisters that grew up near them. There is the Small Angels Church. One person is going to have a wedding near the woods, and there's like a mystery about the haunting in it. I started this last year and then just never got around to finishing it. Not that it was bad or anything. I think I just kind of forgot that I was reading it. So hopefully I'll be able to knock it out this year. And then, of course, a spooky season classic, Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is a book that I have never read, mainly because I don't focus on classics or like old books very often. But this is one that gets so much love, and it sounds really interesting. I think it's kind of like a psychological horror. I don't know all that much about it, so I am looking forward to hopefully getting into it. Then I have The September House by Carissa Orlando. This is a book that I saw recommended by Jamie Kate. I will link her channel below, and she was raving about how good this was, and I really trust her judgment on books. We have a very similar taste in a lot of ways. Not identical necessarily, but very similar taste. And so I think that if she loved this, I'm probably gonna love this as well. And I happened to come across this at a bookstore in Utah a couple weeks ago, so I thought, why not pick it up? Then I have The Whispers by Ashley Audrain. I absolutely loved The Push by Audrain, and I've heard that this one's not quite as good as The Push, that it's kind of more of like a domestic neighborhood thriller. So we'll see. I'm hoping that it'll still be a good read for me. And then we have A Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. From what I understand, this is a standalone fantasy, and this is about a character named Elizabeth who is accused of sabotage relating to a library's most dangerous grimoire. When she has to go to the capital to defend herself, she has to rely on her sworn enemy, sorcerer Nathaniel. This I've heard nothing but good things about. This is definitely not a spooky season read, but there's something about fantasy for me that really gives me fall vibes, and this one in particular is really giving me fall vibes. And then we have Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian. This is a retelling of Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, but it is told through the perspective of Elaine. Elaine is a prophet who knows everything that is going to happen to all the various characters. And I think that's a really unique telling of Camelot. I'm excited about this book because it is retold from a unique perspective, and I feel like Arthurian legend kind of gives me those fall vibes as well for some reason. And continuing on with some of my spooky season selections, I have some newer releases. First, I have Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. This is about a mysterious house that pops up after an author disappears, and we have 2 siblings that are living in this house. There's a lot of creepy things going on. I really enjoy Harrow's writing for the most part. I'm hoping that I'm really gonna love this. Then I have Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. This was a book that I picked up from Book of the Month last month, and this is a thriller mystery set around a serial killer, or rather a spree killer, and some of the women that were his victim. I am really looking forward to getting into this one. And then I have Burnham Wood by Eleanor Catton, which is an eco-thriller. I've actually already read probably the first 100 pages of this or so. And then I was like reading it up until I left to Guatemala, and then I put it down and I haven't read it since. So it's gonna be on my TBR to finish this month. After Burnham Wood, we have Happiness Falls by Angie Kim. This is kind of a domestic thriller / family drama. We have a father who goes missing, who's kind of like the head of this family, the anchor to the family, and he has a disorder that makes it difficult for him to communicate, and the clock is ticking while the family tries to find out what happened to him. And my final book for my spooky season TBR is Kala by Colin Walsh. This is a thriller. It's about a friend group. One of the friends went missing a long time ago, and now the friends have returned to their hometown in Ireland, and some girls have gone missing, and it brings up like the open wounds around their friend's disappearance 15 years in the past. I've heard really good things about this one. I've been wanting to read it, so I'm really excited to get to it. So that is my TBR for the month of October. I have books for Hispanic Heritage Month. I have lots of spooky season reads, couple cozy fantasies and mysteries and things like that. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, comment down below, and let me know, what are you reading in October? Are you gonna go out with spooky season? Are you participating in readathons? Do you just read whatever you want, whenever you want? Let me know how you're doing it. And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the notification bell so that you never miss a video. And that way we can see each other again soon. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.